Welcome to the Hollywood Scholar. I'm Jed Morgan, and it appears that the next victim of race swapping has been officially announced from Hollywood, and that next victim will be Rapunzel. Now, as I always have to say in videos like these, race swapping in and of itself I don't necessarily have a problem with. If it's done for the right reason, in the right context, it can be good and can be beneficial to a story. But in the modern political landscape of Hollywood, you can't trust their motivations, and as they so often do, it is done for 100% political reasons, and used as an excuse to be lazy, to write empty characters that if fans judge or criticize, the writers can just call you racist, and that's the end of it. But that's not the end of it for me, because I'm still going to criticize these characters whether or not the writers call me racist, because they're poorly written, and that's what I have the bigger issue with, not this color of their skin. But there are some contexts that even take away the good reasons behind it, and I fully expect this film to be done for political reasons. It absolutely seems like it was done for political reasons, but there's a context to this story that makes it even worse, because for some reason, Hollywood, when they do these politically motivated race swaps, they choose the worst characters to race swap, because certain characters have immutable traits that are associated with their story that come from their hair and their skin color. And Snow White is a perfect example of that. The recent race swap of Snow White for Disney's Snow White remake. Snow White's skin is white as snow. That's very much a part of her character and a part of her story, and that's very important to the Snow White story. So race swapping her doesn't make sense. And another example of that is House of the Dragon. They have one dude who was race swapped with Valerian, and that Valerian is involved in a paternity situation where you have to figure out who the real daddy is. And if one of the daddies is black and the baby turns out black, gonna kind of be easy to tell, and that takes away a lot of the conflict of House of the Dragon and simplifies that story to such a degree that it won't be as compelling or long or as good even as what it was originally intended to be. So you take away a lot of that stuff because of the race swap. And in this situation, it seems to be another one of those characters that they're doing it in the wrong way, taking away a mutable trait of a certain aspect of this character for political reasons, shattering the foundation of the very story that they're intending on adapting. And that all comes here from this quote here in the headline of this Bound in Comics article. She'll have a huge afro. Rapunzel's hair is very important, and I think that is more an issue with this version than the race swap in and of itself, is the afro, because her hair is so fundamental to everything that she does as a character. Her hair is literally the whole thing the story's about. Rapunzel would not be the beloved story it is today if you cut out the hair aspect of it. Some chick locked in a tower, we've seen that a few times before. The hair is what sets it apart and makes it a unique story, and so taking away that hair makes this story ordinary even. And for some reason, Hollywood associates certain hairstyles with blackness, and that's so strange, because afros in this instances, other races have naturally occurring afros. I actually have a friend of mine who he's a redhead with a natural afro who was attending a liberal college, and the college tried to make him shave his head because he was appropriating black culture. And he's like, no, this is how my hair naturally looked. And so they try to do the argument that he's biologically subverting or appropriating black culture biologically, and it was subconscious. He was subconsciously doing it. It's like, no, it occurs in other races besides just black. Afros do, as well as dreadlocks. Everyone says you can only wear dreadlocks if you're black. Well, Vikings wore dreadlocks thousands of years ago, but that's culturally appropriating if Vikings do it today. No, certain things are more than just black. And so they're doing this specifically to be like, this is black Rapunzel. Yeah, she's super duper duper black. See, she's got an afro. And it's like, that doesn't necessarily mean she's black. Not connected issues there. But they seem to connect those hairstyles so much. It's such a strange thing that they've associated with blackness when it's very much common in other cultures and other races. And so even if this were white Rapunzel with an afro, that would be fucking retarded too. So they're just being dumb as fucking shit with this whole situation. Rapunzel's hair is very important. Making an afro takes away so much of her story. But let's jump right into this article. According to actor David, he and his girlfriend are developing a sequel to the story of Rapunzel that will see Deadpool 2 and Joker star step into the role and trade in the classic fairy tales golden locks for a huge afro. Yeah, it's so fucking ridiculous. Her story makes no sense with an afro. But I do have to say that I am a fan of hers. I did like her in Deadpool 2 and Joker. She is a good actress. She's just not right for the role, especially with the afro more than anything else. The race swap does have implicit issues in it, because I 100% expect them to just approach this with like, we need a quick paycheck. What do? Ooh, let's race swap a classic character. People will come to see the classic character, but we can be super duper lazy about it and write this in a week because we race swapped it. So if anyone criticizes us, we'll call them racist. And so it's the easiest paycheck ever, and that's where a lot of these race swaps come from, and as an excuse to be lazy. Triss from The Witcher Season 1 is a perfect example of that. They race swapped her as an excuse to write her as the most empty and vapid character ever, and that's what I more have an issue with, is writing characters like shit, because you can just call your fans racist, misogynist pigs if they don't agree with your portrayal of this character or criticize their writing. And that's the big thing behind all these race swaps that I have an issue with, not the race in and of itself. And race swaps should be in every direction. Either they're all okay or none of them are. And of course, you're not going to see a white Black Panther because that's racist. But you can't turn that argument back on these racists, these woke people, because they won't accept it. They're too dumb to fucking see the irony of their own statements. Just talking about the writers of the credits, and this was in an interview with Screen Rant. There's something I can't talk about, but it's going to be exciting. They're writing a lot. I have a couple of scripts. Yep, they're just working hard, apparently, which I don't believe. The actor confirmed, so we are making a Rapunzel story, kind of what happens after. She'll have a huge afro, he added. That's something we're really excited about writing. Why would you go into a Rapunzel story and that be, like, the thing you're excited about? Yeah, she's going to kill it. She's going to be good. Yeah, I expect the actress to do good with what she's given. She's good, unless she takes it from the perspective of, oh, I'm a race swap character, I can be lazy as fuck, just like the writer is taken from that perspective. So there's that possibility as well. But why would you go into it just saying, you know, this person who's famous for her hair, I'm so excited to get rid of that hair? That makes so much sense. That's like going into making an Iron Man movie and be like, you know what, he's known for that, suit of iron. I'm so excited because I'm not going to put him in the suit at all. I'm sorry, what? You're going to make an Iron Man movie where he doesn't have his suit? Yeah, no. He's going to have a gun. Iron Man with just a gun? That's the perspective. He's just so excited to make a story about Rapunzel that's not Rapunzel in any way, shape, or form. It's like, yeah, it's just like Lord of the Rings, the Prime Video show. They're taking the name Lord of the Rings and making whatever fanfic they want that has nothing to do with Lord of the Rings. That seems to be what they're doing here. They're taking the name Rapunzel and making whatever story they want. And they're hoping that that name, that logo, will be able to get butts into seats. And I don't expect it to, because people have gotten fed up. We've been burned so many times that these are red flags to a lot of the audience that this is going to be a shit movie. Now, normally this wouldn't necessarily be a red flag. People are willing to accept changes to classic stories if they're done right and done for the right reasons. But it's happened so many times in terrible instances in the last few years that fans are going to be like, what the fuck you doing, man? Get the fuck out of here with this garbage. And so, yeah, I don't expect this to do well whatsoever if it ever actually comes out. Interestingly, should their project come to light, it will be the first attempt. It will not be the first attempt to put a black spin on Rapunzel. Yeah, they're talking about the Amazon Prime commercial that they put together, and it wasn't necessarily a bad, I don't care, it's a commercial. It was woke. Like, there's that whole part about she don't need no man, she just needs Amazon, and she just orders a ladder to get herself down, and then she gets down and she opens up a salon where she's wearing dreadlocks now, and I think it's dreadlocks. But yeah, it's just a terribly made woke commercial that's garbage. But yeah, that's another example of them doing it. But at least in the part of that Rapunzel story, they kept her long hair. I'll have to give them credit for that. Surprisingly, I have to give them a modicum of credit for that, whereas they're not even going to do that for this other interpretation. Prime, for them, they kept in the fundamental aspect. I may not like their decision and may not like the political motivations behind that decision, but they kept in the fundamental aspect of the character that's most important to the character. This new interpretation will not do that whatsoever, and that's where I have an issue with it more than anything else, and that's why a lot of fans will have issues with this more than anything else, and that's why I fully expect it to be summarily rejected by fans and to die in the box office, and then we're all going to be called racist because we didn't want to go see it. No, we knew what you were doing. You were doing it for the wrong reasons, and we're going to call you out on it. Doesn't matter how many times you call me racist. I'm going to call you out on your poor writing, your lazy motivations, and just your shitty talent. Sorry, it's what I'm here for. But anyway, that's all I have for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Anon. If you like what I do here and want to see good, compelling stories that Hollywood will no longer give you, Check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern day mental illness issues. Books 1, Down in Flames, and Book 2, Apocalypse Then, currently on sale. Book 3, Kill the Dark, coming soon.